Hey YouTube, it's Lisa and I am back. I am so sorry for the little hiatus I took accidentally. I did explain that in my last video. And then I said, oh, I'll be vlogging next week, and silly me, Chewy, shush, my dog barking. I didn't look at the calendar when I said I would be vlogging, and my kids had a 3-day weekend, so they were off on Friday, which was the day I had planned. And like I have said before, it is not a good idea to vlog with my older ones home, and then at night things are so crazy, and so it's just, yeah. So anyway, I'm back. It's Monday, and before I tell you what's been going on, please watch this video to the end, or at least watch it to the point where kind of I tell you the hopeful part, because I want this to be a message of hope. And well, that sounded corny, but I want you to take hope from this and not take it away as, oh my gosh, you know, another miscarriage. And yes, I'm gonna get to that. I don't want you to take this as a negative, because this has been an unraveling mystery for me, and I think it is for a lot of us. And I feel really grateful that for the things that have happened and the things that have led me to basically kind of knowing what's going on with my body and just the things that have come to me. So, okay, so let me just get right to it. I found out I was pregnant. I did the post on being pregnant, and I had said in the post it was not an ideal time. I had started losing weight. I had just started this medication. The medication you are not supposed to take when you're pregnant, but I thought I wasn't pregnant, and then I found out I was pregnant. Well, I was very stressed about that because I stopped taking it immediately, but I was very stressed, and I was worried about damaging the baby in that really formative time, and I just really prayed that if the baby was not going to make it, to just let it go early. Like, just don't. I didn't want to have another D&C. I didn't want to have another late-term miscarriage. And so I was really prayerful about it. And let's see, I think I found out about 4 days before my period was due that I was pregnant. So, so my period was due the 27th. I found out the 23rd or the 24th that I was pregnant. And then it was kind of where my period was due the 27th. The 28th, for no reason at all, I took a pregnancy test. And I had really promised myself that I wasn't going to get obsessive and start taking pregnancy tests. And if you have seen my video about pregnancy test obsession, yeah, you know that I've forked out $300 in pregnancy tests or more. And the bottom line is it didn't help, because ultimately I watched the line progress, I watched it get darker, and I still had a miscarriage. So I was really thinking, this time I'm not going to. And so I was in the bathroom, and I don't know why, I'm just gonna pee on a stick. So I peed on a stick, and I thought, you know, it's the day after my period's due, so it should just be turning quickly. It doesn't need to be first morning urine. And it took a very long time to get a very light line. It was much lighter. So of course I said, man, I did have a lot to drink. And so I held my pee, and then I took another test, and it was the same. And I told my husband, I said, I think I'm having a chemical pregnancy, and that this is gonna end. And so the following morning, I still had not started my period. I took a pregnancy test. It was negative. So I knew that the bleeding was going to start. It literally started 2 days after my period was due. So the thing is, and I know this is so hard when you're trying to conceive, and I don't know if it's my faith, I don't know if it's because I have 4 kids already, but I really, like, I put a lot on the fact that I was fearful that this baby wouldn't be healthy. Not that I would do anything different. I wouldn't mind having a special needs child. I mean, it wouldn't obviously be something I would hope for, but I was fearful that it was going to be damaged, like really, like, so not a good quality of life or something like that. And of course, we all pray for our babies to be healthy. But also, something to keep in mind if you have a chemical pregnancy is that chemical pregnancies are extremely common. And my doctor told me once that he doesn't even count those. He does not count a chemical pregnancy as a miscarriage. So if someone comes in, they say like I've had like 12 miscarriages, he'll be like, well, okay, was that, 12 miscarriages like where you were like, into your first trimester, or was that 12 where like you took positive pregnancy, a couple days early, and then a positive pregnancy test a couple days early, and then you did? Because he said that before we had these advances in pregnancy tests, people didn't know. Women thought they were a couple days late. They didn't know. And so there wasn't all the drama with fear. And so I really hang on to that. I think there have probably been times when people have been pregnant and didn't even know it. And so I hang on to that. I also hang on to the fact that I was very worried. And I also feel really blessed that it didn't go on, because that was my fear, is that it would go on and I would not get this whole insulin thing under control, and it would just kind of be bad for all the way around. It would be bad. So what I wanted to take, how I wanted this to be a corny message of hope, is I am taking a 2-month break because I am getting my blood sugar under control. So here's where my hopeful thing is, and then I'm going to read you a little. I'm going to show you this article, which I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read that in another vlog, because it actually pertains to advanced maternal age, but there is a little section on miscarriage. But okay, so the way I want you to take this as a message of hope is that yes, I have suffered 3 miscarriages and a chemical pregnancy, all in about 14 months time, and yes, that sucks. And but there has been a journey through this that has brought me to realizing that there's more to it. And kind of initially, when I suffered my first miscarriage, it was you're of advanced maternal age, your eggs are expired, you had to expect that to happen. So I kind of took that, and I had a natural miscarriage at home. Well, it wasn't natural, it was induced by putting the cytotech behind the cervix. And then I was just, so there was no testing done. Well, my second one, that was when I found out that like some doctors don't like the cytotech, because you can have a really bad miscarriage at home in the middle of the night and it can actually damage your uterus. You can use your uterus and have to have a hysterectomy. And I was like, holy cow, I didn't even know that. And I'm a researcher, so why I didn't research that, I don't know. I guess just because when the doctor gave me the options, I just took it, and he did the cytotech right then, so I didn't really have time to go home and Google it and stuff. But fortunately it worked out for me. But my next one, I had a D&C, and my husband and I discussed it, that if it came back that there was genetic damage, or, like a non-survivable genetic disorder, basically that we would assume was caused by my age, and that we would not try again. Well, the test results came back and the baby was fine. There was no genetic finding. And so we were like, yeah, let's try again. So we did try again, and yeah, sure enough, we had another miscarriage. But during this time, I was having this struggle with my weight. And I could not seem to lose. First of all, I was gaining rapidly when I was pregnant, more rapidly than usual. I've always been a rapid weight gainer. At 5'2", at 125 pounds. I have had a pregnancy or two where I've been over 200 pounds at the birth of my baby. So, and I've always gotten that weight off. So what was really strange for me was that when I really put my mind to it and I was trying to work to get the weight off, and I'm sorry if this is repetitive because I know I have talked about it in another thing, but I want to kind of go over it about how it kind of pertains to my miscarriages. I'm a hand talker, so it's kind of funny. You can't see my hands and things, but I'm still talking. But anyway, and my dog's going crazy in the back. But so I was having all this weight, and I was really frustrated, and I was not able to lose the weight, and I just didn't put the two together. But after my D&C, it intensified to the point where I not only couldn't lose weight, but I was hardly eating, I was exercising, and I was literally gaining weight. And don't go into the whole, you can, but I am a dieter. Like I totally, I've had 4 kids, and so I have been on 4 diets. And I've always lost the weight, got back down into my 125 weight zone that I'm comfortable in. And I know there's the whole, oh, you might not be eating enough and stuff, but that is actually kind of a longer term. Like, if you cut your calories like really low, you should lose something initially. And yes, it will mess up your metabolism if you do that for weeks or months at a time. But, because I would get the, oh, maybe you're not eating enough. But I was like, no, there's something wrong. And I just could not get doctors to listen. And then I remembered a friend of mine who had been struggling. And of course, looking back, oh my gosh, I was so judgmental because she had told me that she was trying to lose weight and she couldn't. And at the time I was doing this boot camp and I was in great shape and I was thinking, cut your calories and exercise and you'll lose weight. Yeah, who knew? She was actually telling the truth and she really couldn't lose weight. So I ended up texting her, and she sent me to this doctor, and this huge blessing all the way around because the doctor works in a fertility clinic, and so you're not paying for the fertility clinic. Actually, his wife runs the fertility part, but because they do work together and they do fertility, they are very intertwined, and he has a lot of knowledge. Anyway, I went in and I told him I am not losing weight. It was after my DNC, and he was like, you are basically insulin resistant. And he did my blood work, and it was like, I'm almost diabetic. And so this may or may not be your problem, but the key here is that if you're not getting pregnant or you're having miscarriages, there really could be a medical problem. See, for me, I blew it off. I wish I hadn't blown it off for so long because ultimately I went to the doctor for something different. So he said, you have insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is actually very common in women with PCOS. I don't have PCOS, so I had no real reason to look at that. Like, my periods are very regular. I don't have like strange hair growth or whatever. It's just the only thing that I really had that was indicative of the insulin resistance was that I was gaining weight, and I was gaining it rapidly, and I was gaining it by not eating. Like, it was a weird thing. Well, anyway, insulin resistance, I have since done a ton of research on it, and I actually talked to my doctor about it, and insulin resistance can up your miscarriage rate, and the rates are phenomenal. They are like, I read it was like on the National Government Health Institute. So not like a fly-by-night company that's trying to sell drugs. It said that insulin resistance can raise your miscarriage rate by 39%. So if you add to that, advanced maternal age raises your miscarriage rate, and you add to that, insulin resistance, and then you add to that just the fact that, depending on what study you look at, 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage. I was looking at almost a 50% chance of miscarriage. Now, the positive thing for me is that I am now on a special diet to solve the insulin resistance. I'm able to take the medication, which I will be off of in a couple of months, which is why I'm waiting to take I'm just getting my body in shape. And I am also, the metformin is actually for insulin resistance. And if you Google metformin and miscarriage, you will find these amazing studies that have shown that women who could not get pregnant, they were on metformin, and the pregnancy rate went up 40%. 40%. That's amazing. And so the reason I really want this to be hopeful is because, yes, I have had a very rough journey and it has really sucked. And, I would often say the weight gain was insult to injury. But you know what? The weight gain led me to a doctor. I would have never gone before. I would have said, oh my gosh, it's my age. And I would have just blown it off. But the weight gain led me to a doctor. I found a doctor and who said, you know what? You have this going on and, we're going to fix it. And now it is being fixed. And I fully believe that I will be pregnant in the next couple of months. I am not trying for 2 months because I need to get off the medication that is not good for pregnancy. I'm on the metformin to help my blood sugar. And so I really strongly encourage everyone, and I'm not saying you have insulin resistance, but whether you have a blocked tube or, just anything, just a blocked tube, insulin resistance, there's so many things it could be, and so many of them are simple fixes. And so, because although this has been a bit of a journey for me, I mean, I have changed my whole eating. I am taking medications, and you know, it's been a lifestyle change for me. It's like, it's all in all, it's actually a pretty easy fix. And so, and I'm just so grateful that I didn't write it off, because I did feel this calling to have another baby, and it was really weird because I was like, why is this happening? And but I feel like I should have another one. And so this, I'm just going to switch gears, not totally switch gears, but I have this little article, and I tried to find it online, and I couldn't find it. And I tried to order a back copy, and I couldn't order a back copy because I really wanted to post a link to this. I'm going to read it in this little magazine. It's an obscure little magazine. I don't even know how I got on the list. It's called Above Rubies. It's a very Christian magazine, and it's very, you know, some people would consider it maybe a little overboard. You know, like, it is definitely like all the women homeschool, and it's kind of got, you know, just definitely like more of an over-the-top feel to it. However, they have some really amazing articles, and this article is actually, the name of the article is Too Old for What? And it basically says, and I will read it when I do an advanced maternal age video. I know a lot of you want to know how old I am, and I will tell you, I'm not hiding it for any, I will tell you why I have not revealed my age, but it's not a crazy reason or whatever. It's just, you know, there is a reason, but it's not because I'm ashamed or anything like that. But anyway, the thing that I wanted to read apart from this article, or that I wanted to take from this article for this particular vlog, is that there's this woman, and like, the name of it is My Heart Overflows, and it's in the same Too Old for What. However, so she was in her 40s, and she had multiple miscarriages, and she told her husband, I think we're just done. And then it just, she went on a journey. She had a journey of kind of accepting that they were done and everything. And I don't know if they're indicating that she just finally relaxed and came to acceptance, or a lot of the article is about putting things in the Lord's hands. But ultimately, she did go on to have another baby. And she had a couple of miscarriages, like at 10 and 11 weeks, you know, and she was just kind of like, we're done. And then she had another baby. And the only reason I wanted to share that is because it is a piece of encouragement that, you know, even if you have miscarriages, and that you can have another baby. And one of the struggles that women who've had babies before have, including myself, is I have never had a problem getting pregnant or staying pregnant until recently, is that we don't get a lot of medical attention or people paying attention, because they're like, oh, you know, you've had a baby, there can't be anything wrong. And I have a friend that had three miscarriages in a row. I've mentioned to her before because she's the one that talked about taking aspirin, and then they had their 5th baby. So, but she had 3 miscarriages in between her 4th and her 5th. And she said that she kind of faced the same thing, and she's younger than I am. And so, so she's not in the advanced maternal age zone, but she had her first kids in her 20s. And like, so basically then when she went back, she's 33 now. And when she went back and said, I'm having these miscarriages, the doctors pretty much blew her off. And it turned out she had a clotting disorder that was making it so her body was naturally rejecting. And that was a simple fix. It was the aspirin. And that was, so that's why I'm really saying go to the doctor. So I'm going to really try to stop rambling now. I do plan on doing a vlog on advanced maternal age. I am going to try again to write to the people who do this magazine and see if I can get a link to this article. I would really love for you guys to read it. It's so encouraging, and so it's just so wonderful, because not only do women face miscarriages and they face these trials and they overcome them, but if you're of advanced maternal age and you're trying to conceive, there's a woman in this article who had a baby at 49. So it's just super encouraging. And if you want to write to the place yourself and see if you can get a copy, let me see which. This is, it's aboverubies.org, and this is issue 86. And I don't really, sometimes it just shows up in my mailbox. I don't know if it's a bi-monthly, I don't know if it's a, like every other month, I don't know. But anyway, I do plan on reading the rest of the article to you in another vlog. But I just, I really, I don't want you guys to feel sad, and I don't want you to feel discouraged. I'm going to be, because I'm taking 2 months off, I'm going to be really focusing on getting healthy, and one of the things is oxygenating my eggs, and so I've done some research on that too with all my little crazy things that I do. And so that is really intense exercise to get oxygen to your eggs. I have read that you can get, you can basically have 20-year-old eggs, you know, even at advanced maternal age, or even if you're having problems, you can have really healthy eggs by just getting that extra oxygen into your body. So I will be doing vlogging, and I just really appreciate everyone sticking with me, and I honestly, I know sometimes I share probably more of my life than you guys want to know about, but I feel that we have a little bit of a bond. I mean, this isn't like a business. This is me kind of just, you know, putting out there how I feel and how things are going for me, and connecting with other women who are in the same place. And so this is a kind of a friendship zone, I guess. And so if I overshare and you're like, come on, just get with the program and just tell us what's going on, I apologize. That's just, I do view this as a friendship, and yeah, I guess I think you have to make money to make it a business too. But it's not a money maker. It's not anything. It's just something that's been really great for me, and I've met good people through it. And on that note, I'm gonna go because I need to clean my house before I go pick up my pre-Ks, and I will also be adding another little section to my vlog. We have decided to homeschool our other two. That is a whole other thing, but I will be kind of I will be vlogging a little bit about the process there, and a lot of it has to do with my son's health, so which you guys know about. And so yeah, so that's just kind of it's just an exciting journey, and I'm excited, and I'm pretty sure that when I start homeschooling is when I'll get pregnant. So I'll be homeschooling my 2 youngest ones, and I'll be throwing up. And I homeschooled my first one just for 2 years before the charter school we go to opened up. And that was exactly what happened. I was pregnant for 2 years in a row while I was homeschooling him. So I was pretty much like, you know, doing a lesson, throwing up, doing a lesson, throwing up. So I'm pretty sure that Murphy's Law says that when I start homeschooling them, I'll get pregnant with like triplets or something, which would be a huge blessing. So anyway, I love you guys, and I really hope that everyone is encouraged, and that you're not giving up, because you do deserve a baby, and that yeah, and I will get to questions and comments. I just haven't. It's been crazy with my son and things that have been going on. So I will get to that. So don't think I forgot or anything like that. But anyway, I love you guys. I'm really gonna go now, and I will talk to you soon because I'm back.